www.ft.co.uk.
Welcome back. Final chunk of this Champions League pool here on Free Sports. Stephen Jameson and Simon Webb still with you, and this is the state of play. It is all to play for Phil Harrison and Rob Chilton. They've each had a draw, they've each had a win. A win for either will see them qualify through to the quarterfinals out of a very tricky Group 3 in the Champions League. A draw, meanwhile, would take us to our very first shootout, which sees 6 reds queued up in the triangle area. Quickest time to clear them wins.
First frame.
I personally cannot say that's what I'm looking forward to.
Time running.
But from a neutral point of view, let's hope for a really entertaining 3-3 draw and a shootout. Hey.
Let's put it this way. I'm looking forward to seeing it at some point in this competition.
Yeah, it really will be fantastic when we do get to see it, and it will happen at some point. Phil makes a ball off the break. Spoke to both these chaps tonight. Phil we spoke to a little bit later on than Rob. Phil had 2 games in his, in his holster at this point, and he was much happier than he was after his first game, that's for sure. Interesting to hear all the players talking about the table. We haven't really heard much about it from our previous groups, but all the players tonight have commented on how responsive the table is. Now, we know how responsive that table is, having played on it when it was first installed at the start of December.
Yellow balls in play.
But it's interesting to see that players are struggling with it a little bit.
Yeah, it is, and even when you know it's responsive, it still can catch you out, and it does take some time to really get used to it. When you get used to it, it is absolutely lovely, though.
Is that what we're going to see here between Rob and Phil, do you think?
Possibly. I think they both really settled down, didn't they? They both they were caught out in their first match, but they played so much better in their second match. You could see there, though, straight away, Phil was already, he went for a wonder and almost got caught out by the clock. Luckily, he had an extension that he had to use. So that's his extension been and gone already in this match.
Yeah, and I feel like it's worth pointing out as well with the numerous COVID protocols that are in place at this event. The players don't get a practice on the match table. They get their own practice table in the lounge here, well away from all the other players. They can practice on that as much as they like, but in terms of the match table, it is left alone unless it is being used for a match, which means it's in near perfect nick. But it does mean that it is springy. It is as good as new.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. The start here from Phil, though. What a break, and he's used the extension wisely, you have to say, now that he's made the clearance.
He looks at it now, doesn't he?
He really does.
He really does. Could be in for a cracking finale here. Rob Chilton would have watched that and thought, all right, anything you can do? Can he do better? This is Phil the Farmer, the 2009 W.E.P.F World Champion, Supreme Series champion, so he's very, very used to this rule set, if not the shot clock. That's one thing we haven't mentioned too much tonight. It's been refreshing, actually. Feel like we've just been able to watch and enjoy. Not really seems to have caused any great drama or anything, but Phil very used to this rule set, having won a couple of Supreme Series in this venue, I believe.
Yeah.
And then a 3-time World Master as well. Some player.
Yeah, he's won many, many titles. Trying to limit it to 3 lines would be very difficult.
Second frame, Rob Chilton to break, trailing 1 frame to 0. Time running.
When your opponent starts like Phil Harrison did, it's important for Rob Chilton to respond. Big break here, and that is not the response he wanted.
Foul.
It's the one thing he didn't want to happen.
Behind the break line, time running.
The one thing he didn't want to happen. Straight into the middle pocket as well, which for the uninitiated is user error. There's not much bad luck about that. If you screw straight into the middle, that's That's on you.
Red
First
balls in play.
glance, these have come out really nicely. Reds all have a pocket. The only question mark about this clearance is going to be the black. Not sure if it has a pocket without a little nudge. Does it go to the bottom right-hand corner? It looks tight. It looks too tight to me. It will go to the left centre, but landing on it to be able to pot it into the left centre, very difficult. I suspect that's what Phil is giving a lot of thought to now. Oh, lovely. What a lovely shot that is. The delicate control to get the cannon he needed. If he catches that yellow full, he's not on his next ball, but he knew he had to get the cannon to develop the black. Excellent stuff from Phil Harrison.
Just feel that's your sort of, almost your quintessential Phil Harrison shot there. Doesn't do huge amounts, but does what he has to, and does it so cleanly and concisely.
Slight grimace on his face. I think that meant he would like to be on the red to the right-hand side. No, he's not. There's another shot that just really highlights the point you're making there, Stephen. It's to come on off the cushion and
made a face at that shot.
Yeah.
Not that anyone could tell, but just so good to watch someone as good as this do their thing. And it is beautifully played.
That was another shot as well that, you know, I was about to say that highlights he's starting to get a feel for the table, but he gets this one all wrong and hasn't landed on his last ball.
Commentator's curse strikes, as inevitably would do. What's he got in the locker here? Oh, I tell you what.
That's some effort, that really is. Trying to put a ball that doesn't go, finding a gap that isn't there.
If that yellow hadn't come across, I think this is close.
It's tracking, isn't it?
Oh, that's in.
That's what he was playing as well. That was some effort from Phil Harrison, but he goes back to his chair and he's going to be very annoyed with himself, because once he had made that cannon and got the black open, he would have backed himself to make that clearance and go 2-0 ahead.
Now, if you're Rob Chilton, this has to go. You've got to take this chance. Having made the mistake and let Phil in the form that he's shown in the last sort of his previous match and the first frame tonight, he looks like he's feeling it, Phil Harrison. And a player of his ability, you cannot allow his mistakes to go unpunished.
Always feel that's the right way of thinking about it when you're playing great players.
You yourself have to play well, there's no doubt about that. You yourself, Rob Chilton, and he'll know this, has to play to his top level. But he also knows that if he's given a chance by his opponent tonight, he really should take it.
He's done well, worked out the balls around that red that could have got in the way, and he's done it well. I think the black passes the red if needed as well. Well, that's how you punish a mistake. We're all square.
Frame.
Oh, this is living up to it, isn't it?
It's going to go all the way, isn't it? All the way to the final minute.
This is Rob Chilton from Dudley. He's been around the scene a wee while. Spoke to Phil earlier, and he's saying him and Rob have known each other for the best part of 30 years. They've been playing hundreds and hundreds of games down the years, I'd imagine. Social, but also at a very competitive level in some of those.
Yeah, look at that record, though. We talked about how good Phil Harrison's record is, but that's not, you know, Rob Chilton with 5 IPA Tour victories and 5 IPA Pro victories, as well as that Sky Sports International Masters. It's an incredible record, and he was also the IPA #1 for a period of time. A few years ago, when the IPA was played to world rules,
Third frame,
moved on
Phil
to
Harrison to break. One
black
frame
ball all
all.
since, but
Time running.
some record from Rob Chilton, it really is.
Yeah, 2 top players. Which is what I think we hoped we'd get in this Champions League pool. Games like this, everything on the line. 15 minutes left. 20-second shot clock. Let's have it.
Yeah, 15 minutes left on the night, and we have no idea who's going through yet.
Extension called from Rob Chilton, and that is not a surprise at all. Phil didn't hit that break particularly well, but he's left Rob really awkward here.
Oh, that's a great
Red balls
ball,
in
isn't
play.
it? Still not out the woods though, because these haven't opened up that nicely. He's made a red to go reds, but it's a red that's causing a problem. Down on the right hand side, I don't think he's landed on it now. He might be able to play it off the yellow. That might be an option. Can he get through? No, he's going to have to play this off the yellow.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a great shot. Lovely little bit of touch. And that is just years upon years upon years of experience, isn't it? Seeing the table, knowing the angles.
What I also like about that shot is that he didn't overplay it. He didn't hit it too firm. It would have been easy for one of those two yellows to get in the way of the reds. It's just awkward now, but he played that previous shot with the pace that the yellow wasn't going to get in the way, which was hard to do. Needs another big shot now, though. Oh, it looks like he's playing another one off one red off another red. He is, and it's not in.
Yeah, couldn't do 2 magic moments back to back. That was a little unfortunate, especially as he cannoned into those 2 as well. He'd really hoped for a little bit better than that. I think with that type of cannon, you are always trusting to luck a little bit. Didn't get it on that occasion. And on such tiny margins can these short format matches turn. Phil Harrison, chance to go 2-1 up with 10 and change remaining.
No problems here at all. The red's out the way. All his work in the same area of the table once he clears this one at the top.
Foresee any errors here. These are fairly in the open. He'll just has to make sure.
You just feel like he's getting more and more comfortable with every frame and match he plays. No.
It's ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say it, he's just grimace on his face because he's run a roll too far. This shouldn't cause him a problem. The red by his hand is stopping him from being able to play the 8-ball in that centre pocket, but plenty of room to go around a few cushions.
Yeah, it's one thing I quite like about Phil, actually. Whilst he sort of does hold himself to this really, really high standard, he does let his emotions show a little bit. He's a little bit hard on his sleeve. You know when he's not happy. And that's quite a bit of the time, because he holds himself to such a crazy high standard that a roll of the ball on a black that is essentially meaningless because he can play the opposite shot anyway. He's ticked.
But but as an opponent, you sit there in the chair, and Rob's Phil's well known for this. That he shows that grimace that he's finished not as he wanted to, but then he comes around, hits the 3 cushion position, finishes easy on the black, and taps it in. So you got to be careful when you're sat there playing against him that you don't follow that body language and that emotion, because he may show grimaces and stuff, but he still makes the clearances.
4 frame, Rob Chilton to break, trailing 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Rob Chilton then has the break. 1 down, makes a ball this time, and the white is safe. And this is a chance, just having an early look.
Yeah, much better this time from Rob Chilton. First break, cue ball straight into the centre pocket this time. Big contact, big split, and great chance. He's used his extension, he's got a rush.
Yeah, reminder if you are just joining us that the shot clock expires when the cue ball is hit. Don't have to wait for the ball to go down or anything like that. Just make sure you hit the cue ball before the buzzer sounds.
I think Rob thought he had his extension left, and he a little glance up at the scoreboard and realised that the extension had gone and had to rush the shot, because you could see him check back after he played the shot as well. Being on the cushion is slightly awkward here. If he's straight, it's really difficult to land nicely on the next ball. Yeah, he tried to really raise the butt of the cue and create something that perhaps wasn't there. That may be the difference in this match. There's such fine margins when you've got 2 great players playing each other.
He's frustrated because even though he's raised the butt of the cue, and even though he's trying to force something, he will have still backed himself for a very high percentage to have made that shot. And if Phil can win this one, he goes 1 from home with about 5 minutes to go. It leaves Rob in a spot of bother.
Yeah, it would leave Rob needing to win at least 2 frames in just over 5 minutes.
That in and of itself, though, we've seen happen multiple times.
Yeah, 20 seconds a shot, very doable.
It's more winning the 2 frames in a row against Phil Harrison in this kind of form that I think is the tough thing.
You have to take the chances, don't you? You can't afford the mistakes. Perfect all the way through this, isn't he? There's been no doubt about making this clearance at all.
Superb. Really, really top work from Phil Harrison. 1 from home, 5.5 minutes remaining of this final match of Group 3.
He looks a different player, doesn't he, from his first match? Not just the fact that where he's playing on the table, but the body language off it. He looked frustrated and annoyed and rushed and awkward in that first match, but he really has grown as the night's gone on. There's definitely a sense that he's getting comfortable with the pace of play out there.
Yeah, Rob, on the other hand, looks like he's thinking about that missed pot still.
Really the difference in the match, isn't it? Just that
5th
one
frame.
ball.
Phil Harrison to break.
Yeah, could he easily be 2-2, and that would be on break. As it stands now, though, Phil has broken the serve of Rob, and a good break here, and a clearance will have him walking into the quarterfinals. Oh, one of the last balls in motion finds a home.
Controls the cue ball beautifully in this break. Parks it in the centre of the table.
Oh,
That was
that was close.
very close to being a time foul. Just in time.
Well, we'd have heard if it was.
Yeah. Two reds at the top of the table, just above that centre pocket. Not sure if the one nearest the pocket will go. If it does, then he can play that one first and that opens up the other one. If not, those two may need a little nudge. That's what he's coming around to have a look at now. I think there is just about enough room. It must be because he's played on it. So now attention turns a little bit towards the black. Does that 8 ball have a pocket? Oh yes, it does. Can't see the full pocket, but you can see centre pocket across the left jaw as he looks at it.
Well, this for a spot in the quarterfinals for Phil Harrison.
Frame.
And he's nailed it.
Phil Harrison.
Great performance
Bobby.
in the final 2 matches in particular of a very tricky night for Phil Harrison. He is our 3rd quarter-finalist. And he joins esteemed company in Aaron Davies and Josh Kane. That is some quarter-final lineup that is shaping up to be, isn't it? Still only had 3. We've got 5 more to come. A great performance there from Phil Harrison in that final, essentially against a very game Rob Chilton, who, in the end, that one missed pot on the stats is really the big thing that jumps out. It was the thing that ultimately cost Rob there.
Yeah, I think for me there was, other than the mistake on the break from Rob, I'd say there was one mistake apiece. There was a positional error from Phil Harrison and the missed pot from Rob Chilton, but that missed pot's cost him a frame, and that's been the difference in the match really. But I have to say, Phil Harrison in the last two matches, to have two break dishes in this match, 2 reverse dishes in the previous match, he looked every bit the player that we know him to be in the last 2 matches, and ominous for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, we'll hear from Phil when we come back. An excellent performance from Phil the Farmer, who qualifies for the quarterfinals. Welcome back to the Vinny.co.uk Champions League pool here on Free Sports. We are done with the action on the table tonight, and that is how it has all finished up. A really, really close night of pool, but the one on top of the pile at the end of it all is one Phil Harrison. He had to scrap to get there. You can see he didn't have it all his own way, but Phil, you made it, and you are through to the quarterfinals. How's that feel?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, very, very pleased. Yeah, nice to go another round, isn't it?
It was a tough night tonight. We talked about that initially in when we spoke to you before, but to get through a night like that, now knowing that you can do it on a group stage night, 4 matches, back-to-back short format, must give you a bit of confidence heading into the later stages.
I think, like I said, we all struggle. We don't play our normal game. But we just I tried to after the first match, because I just felt like I was dragging myself down and just taking too long, and you haven't got too long. So I tried to speed up a little bit, take a few more risks, and realising that you can't play the way you normally do. So just go for the finishes if they're there, sort of thing, and just bash them in, sort of thing.
Well, we're used to seeing you win so many different tournaments in different rule sets. This is a totally different experience in so many different ways, this tournament. Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
Oh, I love it. I mean, I think we all enjoyed it. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win, of course, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's more like speed pool, really, isn't it? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 other matches on the TV, the previous couple of times, and they've played well as well. So yeah, there's some good players that play it.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about that actually before
Yeah.
we went to break. It's a stellar quarter-final lineup, and we've only got 3 players in it so far. Does this mean now you get to enjoy the rest of the matches you're going to be watching, see who your future opponents might be?
I'll probably watch a few of them. Yeah, pretty sure. I still love the game, and I don't mind watching them. If they play well, I like to watch it. If they're struggling, I'm not so keen. But
Don't want to get too much bad juju, hey. Well, Phil, thanks for being with us tonight, and congratulations on a quarter-final spot.
thanks ever so much, mate. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Phil Harrison. A super performance from him. He is all good to go through to the quarterfinals. A fantastic performance from Phil. We've still got plenty more pool to come with you in this tournament on Free Sports. Of course, this is all subject to change with the national and regional restrictions being in place over the coming weeks and months, but we will get to our next group in due course, and we will run through this tournament when we can. Do stay with us for the Champions League pool. I'm sure you'll agree we are having a blast so far. From myself and Simon and the production team here at the Players Lounge in Newcastle under Lyme, though, we will see you soon.
This programme is brought to you by Vinny.co.uk.